How is this going to be handled as far as applications? Who's going to put all this together? Interviews and all that. How is that going to be handled? Because I think it's a very important question right now. Pardon me?
Now suddenly we're
Whoa.
concerned about reorganizing instead of, and then you're gonna figure it
Sir,
out?
what's, are you addressing the board or are you addressing just,
No, my advice to them would be typically, from what I see on the agenda, it has been customary in Donegal Township to appoint certain supervisors to head up various areas of the township, be it the road department, the office, and such other areas. I would assume that whoever later in this meeting would be appointed as the liaison or the person overseeing the office would handle, be my recommendation, they would handle
The
that
hiring?
process.
the hiring or
Except-
what?
Only the board can hire. But as far as accepting applications and those things, I mean, somebody in the office has to do it.
I'm concerned about,
I'm concerned
the
about screening.
word you just said is screening them.
I didn't use the word screen, somebody out there said screening.
I
but-
did. I used screening.
Okay,
I'm sorry, then I misunderstood
I've
what
seen
you
that
just
before.
said just now. Okay,
so, Mr. Shingle, I have to.
Question. Kathy, no disrespect whatsoever, but in what capacity is Kathy sitting up there?
Thank you.
By what direction?
Just taking notes. I am only
I'm
taking
asking
minutes.
the board.
That's it.
I understand it, but what capacity is an action the board needs to take? You don't just ask
Okay,
them.
JD, you go up.
Okay.
Come on, Gary.
I'm not volunteering to
Get
do
your
it.
ass up there.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do
Now,
it.
now, you know everything.
Hold down.
What I'm saying is Sharon, that's why I said, could you appoint her as the interim if she could do it? She is your existing secretary treasurer. A compromise is you retain her at least interim while you do the process to have interviews.
That's what I told Mr. Shingle.
That would be a reasonable compromise.
She wasn't fired, but her position was open. She could have remained there until such time as a replacement, but I think, sounds like maybe she quit tonight, I don't know.
Well, it sounds like they all fired her because they all voted no against her. Let's
And
get
they
that
asked her to reapply for a job she already had. She was asked to reapply for a job she already had.
Yeah.
And she's doing a fine job.
Done it
Do
every.
you know how much she did for the sale of real estate in this community?
They don't care.
That's how we got people's houses to closing. They killed it at that. What are you gonna do now when we have closings and nobody's there to do that? What we need
It's done
done?
in every township.
Okay, I'm making a motion to authorize the vice chairman to contract and secure temporary office staff through IC staffing at a wage not to exceed $20 an hour.
Wait a minute. Tammy, don't,
Solicitor just wrote that motion for you.
No, I didn't. Why would you say that, Mr. Shingle?
Look,
Where did I write a motion?
Explain it to us.
Wait, where did I write a motion?
Well, it was you or Tammy.
I didn't write it, you said I wrote a
Okay.
motion. Say it to the camera. Where did you see me write a
I
motion
didn't.
for Mrs. Zine?
I was
Thank you.
wrong.
Thank you.
Mrs. Hines did it.
Didn't
Well,
I
she's
got one?
controlling the puppets. What are you talking about?
That's right, Tom. Well, here's a second.
Are you in charge of the meeting now?
Well, I think sometimes I am.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, just like you, Eddie.
Okay, Dick, you're gonna have to say that motion again.
Okay, sorry,
It is.
I was talking loud.
You were talking
Okay, I
fast.
made a motion to authorize the vice chairman to contact and secure a temporary office staff person through IC staffing at a wage not to exceed $20 an hour.
Sharon made 17.
Which is an maximum, I took the cap.
That includes taxes.
Inflation cap.
Actually, it's.
I see staffing. It's the one that Tammy uses for her businesses.
Yeah.
Can we make a motion for some microphone? Yeah, like we can hear everybody.
I second it.
Oh,
And she started off.
Through friends of mine.
So you're going to hire somebody at a higher wage than Sharon made?
What?
Don't,
You said $20 per hour,
that's a cap.
Not to exceed.
$20 an hour.
Yeah.
That's still more than she,
Maybe Sharon would reapply if she lose $20 an hour.
maybe she can,
If they considered her hourly wage, her benefits, and all the things that township pays,
They furnish the
employment
bond.
taxes, I think she'd be up around there.
She furnishes a bond, they furnish the bond,
the staffing company furnishes the bond
yes.
Yes. It's a good deal.
for how much money? I mean, how much are they bonded for?
Whatever the township code requires, it's just 1/3 of your tax base.
Wait,
Yeah, Sharon was bonded for $1 million.
Yeah.
That's great, that's good. I don't know what tax base is.
the staffing company sets the bond,
They set the, carry the bond on them.
so they're a bonding company also, then? Is what you're saying?
I don't know if they're a bonding company, but they said that they'll have the bond on them.
Well,
haven't thought this.
is so I guess that's the question though, is the person bonded?
Yeah, the person is bonded. The person that would come here would be bonded.
They know an awful lot about this already.
Okay, now I have a question then.
Had a lot of meetings. I'm telling you.
So we're not gonna, what's on the agenda, set the bond, we're not gonna do that tonight.
You don't need to if you're gonna,
We don't need to if they're gonna put the bond on them.
Okay, so that's another thing we're farming out.
Costing more money.
temporarily.
Okay, I have more questions. Is this going to be, how's this work with the advertising for a township manager, which most township managers are bonded also? Are we gonna be hiring 2 new people now, or 2 bonded people, or we just turning the whole township over to the staffing company and Mrs. Imes, or what?
It would appear so. It would appear so.
They would come in, he said, and it'll be until we hire the next person, till we hire the secretary treasurer, till we interview and,
Say what?
till we interview, we have to put out for the applications, the motion was to advertise.
Well, who will advertise? If the secretary usually does that, who would do that now?
He said, the motion she wrote said that she would do it.
Oh, okay. Control again.
Not
We
for
got it.
that. What are you talking about, rate what?
The motion that you wrote for Dick says that you'll be in charge of that, right?
It says to authorize to contact and secure them, a temporary.
Oh, I'm confused.
Temporary.
You're going to the staffing service to hire
I still say we need to
a temporary.
get the people cleaning here.
Temporary.
For $20 an hour,
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed.
Hang a whole bunch of.
not to exceed $20 an hour. No benefits?
No,
No.
they pay them all.
To pay everything.
Saving township money.
Okay.
We're spending money to
save
money?
Mr. Chairman, I got a question. Would the township manager do it all?
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
yeah.
Not any townships I've been to, they have secretary treasurers and township managers.
The manager had to be one of his positions, he'd do secretarial work too.
His, boy, you gotta take
Yeah,
that out?
his.
Everybody take it out.
Most of them are men.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not true. I know one, and she's a woman.
Well, I know one of those, what's a woman doing?
That's why it's a little odd that you said that it's a him.
I'd say they've been having meetings in that barn down there on 40.
Okay, so this is, so your motion is what? Read the motion, Ryan.
For the vice chairman to contact IC staffing for temporary employment not to exceed $20 per hour. And I made a note that they will provide the bond on the employee.
They health benefits.
And they'll pay all benefits.
Yep.
Now, how, you wanna put a clock on that? So she don't end up in the union or something?
You know,
That's
Independent contractor.
That only happens if you do it.
Oh,
No.
welcome to Donegal Township, buddy, you're way behind the curve.
Yeah.
If you do it right, that can't happen.
you think Buffalo is bad?
You,
That'd make it 39.5.
so no clock? And you're the sole, you're gonna hire this person then? Or you just take whoever they send?
They already
Take
know.
whoever they send.
You don't have a
They
choice?
already know who it is.
In the back, I don't like it.
You can send them back if we don't like them.
Okay, so you're gonna, I just want, before we vote, I wanna make sure I got this straight. We're gonna go from a lifelong resident of the township being in the office to turning the friggin' keys over to the township and the bank accounts and everything to who knows who from
We know who.
who knows where.
They know, they know.
They already know.
They're picked
Yeah.
got somebody lined up.
Is that right?
It's not like
To a bonded,
to a bonded
certified.
individual, certified.
I understand they're bonded.
They know.
You got a
baby.
township manager for churches.
So you know somebody bonded that you already got chosen.
We don't have nobody chosen, they're gonna advertise for it.
No, you're not advertising.
already have.
Temporary position, no, it's gonna be
They're
temporary.
just getting somebody from a temp agency to come in here, hand them the keys to the office and
Should
say,
it be
have at it.
How come I don't believe that? How come I believe that it's already a setup and everybody's picked out that they want? How
Yeah.
come that's how I feel?
Do they,
Do you want to
do they do,
call them?
do they screen them and do background checks for these
Yeah.
people?
We don't know what the bond's gonna be. I think the bond, I think at least in your motion, it should be equal to the bond that Sharon had.
It should be equal to
Yeah.
what's required in the township code, unless the board says.
Amend that.
I didn't know
It has to be what?
Whatever, I don't know what your tax base is, but generally it's 1/3 of the tax base.
They know.
So whatever I would say, just to cover yourselves, to include a bond.
Oh,
Of $1 million.
I don't know that that's what your tax base is. I would say a bond, as
oh,
required
I do too.
by the
What
second
an
class
expert.
township code.
That I knew it was coming. Now I know.
Mr. Solicitor,
I knew all
I
this
don't
shit
know
was
whether I
coming.
have the right answer, but we might be in a little disagreement. I think that what you just said follows under the tax collector, but I believe the bonded secretary isn't just the tax base because they do the bonds and handle other money. So that's why they're $1 million bond.
There's nothing in the township code that says $1 million.
Okay,
I can tell you that.
all right.
I
I
was
don't know,
in, I
but
was in the township meeting this afternoon, and we reappointed a township secretary and set his bond.
well, the tax base
Same thing.
is roughly $178,000.
Neither one of them was in there.
We're well
They
bonded.
waited till she was in a
Right, so I'm just saying, I'm suggesting, to cover Mr. Shingle's question, that whatever the bond is, the staffing company understand they have to provide a bond in conformity with the requirements of the second-class township code.
Yes, he did.
Wow.
I'm not, I ain't gonna tell something different.
Amend this, motion.
I
Just
know.
as to, she agreed to accept that amendment. Who made the motion?
I did.
Okay,
Yeah, Dick made the
so
motion.
Mr. Shingle's asking you to
Yeah.
amend your motion, will you include that in your motion?
Yeah, I'd
You
like
just
to
need to say
amend that
yes.
motion. Keep everyone satisfied.
You guys,
It was not in his
Original motion, but also include that they bond according to second-class township code requirements.
Call for a vote.
Kathy?
No.
Ed?
No.
Rich?
Yes.
Dick?
I think the answer's backwards.
They answered backwards.
Oh, they did.
That's
Oh.
okay.
Oh, sorry.
Tammy?
Yes.
You're gonna designate
I'm
between
gonna
Rick
call
and Dick.
you Rick and I'm gonna call him Dick, okay?
All right.
Tammy?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay. Motion to publicly advertise for the position of chief police. He's welcome to.
So you basically, it's when they said, do you have any plans to get
Hold on
rid
a
of
second.
everybody, you
There-
said
The
no.
motion hasn't even been seconded.
What was the motion?
No, just hold it down.
Well, speak up so they can hear what you
Yeah,
said,
that'd be
Rick.
nice.
You what?
I make a
Motion-
motion to
motion
hire
carried.
the chief of police, Yankosic, back.
Second.
Amen.
Amen.
Mr. Fiddler's motion was already on the floor before Mr. Singles, so that motion has to be dispensed with before Mr. Singles'
Okay,
motion
what
will
was
be
that motion?
entertained. So
My
Mr.
motion was motion to publicly advertise for the position of chief of police.
No.
He is welcome to apply
No.
as all other candidates.
No.
Guys!
You people are all over
Do what your residents wanted!
Yeah, second, we have discussion.
Mrs. Graham? They weren't true.
They need a second first.
See that. Exactly why I.
I'll second these motions.
that. You better believe it.
There it is, now you're good.
Now you can jump, okay. So, I just asked if that was something that you were going to consider, or if that we were going to be committing to the existing chief and police department, so we're not.
Right, the
So
only
you-
job that was secure tonight was the solicitor's job. That was the only job that was guaranteed
So they lied.
tonight,
Yeah.
yeah.
I got something to
The
say.
other solicitor didn't show up.
Mr. Fiddler, did you not just say a little while ago that this board was not planning to make any changes in police department
I
personnel?
said in the police department.
Why would you believe?
what?
The police force.
I think you used the word personnel,
Specific on
and you said you
purpose.
were not gonna make any changes.
Mr. Prescott,
Yeah.
why would you believe a thief, a liar, and a swindler?
I got
I
a
can back
question.
each one of those statements up.
I got a question.
I'm not up here to do any
talked yet.
name calling. But I can tell you folks that what this is about, especially with Chief Yankozic, and probably a couple of these positions that are being advertised, is a personal agenda
Yep.
and a
Amen.
personal vendetta
Yes.
by at least two of the current supervisors.
Yes.
And they're being assisted and encouraged, I think, my opinion only, by a previous supervisor.
Yep.
And their oath that they took as supervisors was to do what's in best interest of this township.
And they're not doing it.
And Chief Yankozic has done a heck of a job here.
Yes.
And to open his position up, to me, a violation of your oath of office, and it's a disservice to this police department and to this township. You are not gonna find another guy like Chief Yankozic.
Nope.
With
That's
his
right.
experience, his expertise, the way he gets along with people in the community, the way his guys work for him, and the dedication he has, because nobody in here has any idea how much extra time he puts in this job that he even never gets paid for. And you guys are pulling up big time by not reappointing him. If you don't, I hope you live to regret it.
Bill?
2 years ago, we had the same thing with the same people up here on the board,
did exactly the same thing with the road department, with their personal agenda to delegate us, lie to us, did a whole bunch of things. Resulted in over 14, 15 grievances that was filed, costing the township thousands and thousands of dollars. They won none of them, went to arbitration, lost in arbitration, went to court, and lost in court, and have yet to abide by the court's ruling. Now, you want to talk about personal agendas? There you are. It's been going on for 2 years.
Okay, but we just asked that you put it in police.
I think it'd be wrong for Dick to vote for anything or second anything like that, because it's a conflict of interest,
Why?
because he's got a vendetta against the chief because of his stepdaughter.
Why does he have a vendetta?
Because you, for one, get on him about, he's got to give up this police report, and he can't do it because
I never
the law
realized-
will not do it. Don't you tell me I
Never
heard you
realized
here.
you were in my
That's it.
house, and you don't hear shit. You're not in my house.
That's it.
Never have been.
I never said I was.
All right,
Or do I
You
want
never-
to?
I have an answer for you. I got
Oh, you got an answer for everything, all three of you. Yeah, go ahead. Would you like to do it?
I probably could.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, tough guy. Tough guy.
You were a piece of shit.
I have one question, I don't know.
Telling you, you guys stirred up one hell of
I
a
believe John is part of the bargaining unit, is he not?
Yes,
Separate.
no, he's part of the bargaining
The
unit.
chiefs has to be separate.
The chief is in the bargaining
He does
unit.
not have to be separate, and I believe he's in the bargaining unit, you would have to have cause to.
The position is in the bargaining unit. Under the township code, the chief of police serves at the will of the board of supervisors. So just because you're appointed chief of police,
Not necessarily police, but still
it's
a
not,
police officer.
it's not the person. Right, he's still a police officer. He's not losing his job
I understand.
if they made a change.
Bobby,
Yeah, seeing how all these are personnel matters, shouldn't that have been handled in an executive session?
I made a motion to go into executive session. Bunch of these should have been in an executive session, in my opinion, but.
You come
You
in
can't
late,
vote on
Bob, I think.
executive session.
Right.
They voted not 3 to.
Yeah, but we
not
can
to go to
discuss
executive
it.
session.
I know we can't vote in this, you don't have to tell me that.
You're advertising a position and fighting, going to court to fight the contract that they signed. Shouldn't this be tabled until you find out if you're gonna have a police set up yet? How can you be
You still have
active?
police. You still have police.
You still have police, but you are not going along with the contracts, or you wouldn't be going against it in court. So why would you go to even bothering at this until you got the contract straightened out?
You're moments away from firing the police.
Wait, I want an answer.
I knew that was gonna happen.
we're not firing anybody.
I didn't say that.
The
I-
suggestion,
Frank did.
I just want to come back to, I'm pretty sure at least
still
twice,
never
maybe
heard an
3 times, I requested to know that you're telling the people who voted for you to be up there that you were not getting rid of the current, and you can probably roll the tape back because they're pretty good memory, the current chief and his crew, and you said you were not.
Not making any changes. More than one resident asked the same question in a different manner, and you guys said you weren't making any changes.
Can somebody answer his question?
Why are you bothering with this if you're going to fight the contract?
it's a good question.
Yeah, chief of police.
Wait,
$125
wait.
an hour.
You don't know if you're gonna fight the contract.
No, they've already said they are.
No.
No, it isn't.
It's gonna depend on the response from the police union.
Okay, I say it again. With the possibility that you're going to court,
There's nothing, I understand your question, but there's no negotiations that would take place that's gonna change the position of the chief of police. You need a chief of police.
you have one.
The chief of police is gonna remain in the contract.
Yes.
So you're
So
not
you're
going to
already
change.
advertising for a new chief
Yeah.
of police and you
Correct.
haven't got a contract
No, there is a contract.
that you're gonna fight. Possibly.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Why does it make, that doesn't make sense.
Marcy.
I just want to clarify, for chief, does he stop being chief as of this vote, if it is voted in the majority?
Like Sharon just did.
How does that work? Because
you
you're
all
voting
three
to
vote
advertise
no.
his job. How does that work? What happens to his job?
Yeah, you got rid of our secretary, so now what happens?
And same
Call
thing with
IC
the police
staffing.
contract.
I'm sure Tammy knows someplace she can get a chief.
Exactly,
Remain
she's got a chief all set up.
until
You better believe it.
a final vote
They
is
have a
taken.
personal vendetta
Or
against
if he doesn't
him.
want to be the chief of police, then you'd have
He's
to
arrested
appoint an
my
officer in
dad
charge.
several times,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you
doing his job. and
I
getting
answered,
money
Mr.
for it.
Fiddler asked me to answer your question. The answer would be that Chief Yankovic would remain as the chief of police until such time as there's a formal vote to confirm him, for the next period.
Or replace him.
Or, if Chief Yankovic didn't want to remain as chief of police under those circumstances, then the board would have to appoint an officer in charge, basically somebody within, probably makes sense, within the current ranks of the police, to do his job in the interim. But that really is up to the chief. It was up to Sharon, and Sharon chose to walk out.
I have a question. If you
I'll check, Frank.
make a motion, I'm sorry,
I've been standing, Frank.
Dave was first, Frank.
huh?
Dave was
Just
I'm
first.
sorry.
for clarification, is the chief of police's position, is it not appointed by the board of supervisors?
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you take a vote to advertise for a chief of police, and it passes, de facto, he is, at that time, no longer chief of police. Yes or no?
No.
Then could a motion be made following that vote to appoint him,
You don't need to, because he's already the chief.
then to rescind that
It's redundant.
foolish vote?
It's redundant. You don't need to do that.
Table it.
I've been listening for, never mind.
For those of us who don't know, who haven't read it, who's not privy to us, you guys voted not to go to executive session to discuss it. At the last meeting prior to you guys being in there, they voted not to go to executive session to discuss it, to iron this out. So I, as a resident, not being privy to that, want to know, would like an answer to the question that I've asked tonight and the last meeting. What is the problem with the police contract that we never got, if it's public knowledge, you're saying it's public knowledge now. We asked it last board meeting, we ask it now, you guys won't go to executive session and resolve it. Why don't you just tell us what the problem is?
Lane answered that earlier.
No, you
I
didn't.
don't.
Yes, he did.
Honestly,
What
I
do-
think these are two separate issues.
Right. He's right.
Yeah.
What is the problem with the contract? If you did explain, I apologize, I didn't
I don't,
get that.
I couldn't begin to address everything now, and I'm not going to in a public.
How about one?
forum.
One thing.
No, I'm not gonna do that. That's not what this meeting's about.
No, this
Okay?
meeting's to reorganize, which
Excuse
has
me,
been
Mr. Sigmund,
completely
I'm
off.
trying to answer this gentleman's
In a
question. if you don't
disorganized
mind.
way.
So, there are numerous issues, too many to go over at this meeting.
One, just
And
one.
that's why I think a good fresh set of eyes on the contract and talking between the township and the police union is gonna do this situation a whole heck of a lot of good. And if cooler minds prevail, nobody has to go to court.
$425 an hour.
Yes, $125 an hour, that's what I charge.
Well, that, you ain't gonna
Why?
buy it.
No, I know.
around
I
this
know.
way. All you have to do is say, I want to appoint chief again. You didn't need to go advertise for it.
That's right.
If Sharon gone, now you're gonna screw around and get the police gone. All you're doing is screwing. All you have to do is just reappoint these people.
There you go.
They're all doing a good job.
That was their whole point. I told you why.
Their house cleaning.
And as far as discussion goes, I'm gonna ask you both again. I was at the polls with both of you. Did you tell people you wanted to get rid of Sharon, get rid of the chief, hire a township manager, turn the keys to the building over to some strange, temporary agency? I did not hear you tell one person that.
No, I didn't say it at the poll. I'm just asking for the vote. But I've had many people contact me with their concerns. And that's how I'm trying to conduct my,
With their
Tours.
concerns over the police.
yes. Yes, many
And
people
secretary?
want the police abolished, many people do.
No.
We wanna keep our.
Didn't we just say that they didn't want the police abolished?
We didn't say we were gonna-
If you hear what he said,
I didn't.
He's a lot.
This said,
Mr. Shingle,
Yeah.
when you ran for office, that was your major thing. You were gonna do away with the police department.
No? You can ask anybody you want to. I was not for doing away with the police department. I was with maintaining it at the current size.
That's not what you said at the polls.
It is.
Exactly.
Both of the vote counted.
So regardless of what was said at the polls, there's a majority of residents here, and I think we could probably assume in the township itself, who don't want you to, one, get rid of the police department, two, Chief Yankovic or his crew. And you said a couple of times that that wasn't gonna happen under your watch.
Ready to vote? Kathy?
No.
Ed? Rich?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Tammy?
Wait, be quiet.
No, they know they voted.
Yeah.
Now we have a motion and a second on the floor.
So that means. I'm gonna leave.
It was to retain Chief Yankovic as chief of police.
That they want.
what you just voted on, Kathy?
No, that was the last one, but Eddie tried to do it a minute ago.
And I told
I'm only here for. So Ed, what's your vote again, or your motion?
My motion was to appoint Chief Yankovic the chief.
And I said that motion was out of order, but you can make his motion, and you guys can vote on it.
I actually made the motion before he had a second.
Actually, you did, no, there was a second on his motion.
Oh, you're running the meeting now?
I sat here and
Who
heard this.
seconded?
That is absolutely not true.
Tammy, I believe.
He didn't even have a
Absolutely
motion
not true,
finished.
and it was Dick Martin.
He stumbled around with his speech and I beat him to it because he's
Yeah, because they,
Billy Mouth.
I
they
see,
wanted it
okay,
repeated.
gotcha, gotcha. Actually, Rick's running the meeting, not you, Mr. Shingle. You spoke over.
Well, you're
top
doing
of
an
me.
awful lot of talking, Sue.
I'm doing my job, Mr. Engel, Mr. Shingle.